see that they're in there. But after Friday 4:30, it will average. So if you have a 0 and a 50, then you're probably going to be looking at a 20-something on Friday afternoon. And that's it. All I can tell you is get your stuff together this last 5 weeks, because it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy with STAR testing. It's going to get crazy with your senior farewell that's happening. All this stuff is going to happen in the next 5 weeks at a rate that you really can't stop. So if you care about your GPA, and by the way, GPAs have already been locked in. Colleges are looking at the 5th 6 weeks. That's what they're looking at as your GPA. They really don't do the 6 weeks for seniors. But if you're still worried about making a high A, then make your high A. If you're like, no, I'm going to rock on with my 20, because I know colleges have already calculated my GPA, 5th 6 weeks was a 93, and that's what they're going to see on the transcript. Okay. I know all that stuff on transcripts, and I know what they're looking at, so technically you could say you're going to have a 20 in 6 weeks, and you don't care. But it's under the understanding that I know that, you know that, and you're cool with that. I'm not going to be worried about late work, because I cannot keep up with late work anymore. All the stuff that is piling on for me and y'all and regular school stuff is going to be just as much, so I'm not doing it anymore. Either you get it in on Friday, or you take your zeros and that's it. You always know whatever you don't finish for today or yesterday, you can finish it at home. But you know, when Friday comes, I'm taking that stuff home, so you should have journals in there. You should have your week worth of work in there. Any questions on it? We all heard it. Please don't bring me Dante's Inferno 5 weeks from now and say, was this a grade? Yeah, it was a grade, and it's done. 5 weeks ago, it was done. Throw it away, please. Yes?
Are you going to be here after school now?
I usually don't stay after school.
No, man, like whenever you go to the lecture.
If they call me out to the thing,
Yeah.
Yes, I'll come back if I'm here. But once those meetings start happening, and those meetings are going to start happening once scores come in. Once scores come in and they see, wow, these last 50 seniors, 20 still did not pass that English test. That's 20 meetings I have to attend.
Really?
Yes. Even if it's 20. And that's knocking that number down to what I'm predicting should be 20 or 15 maybe. So I would possibly be out 2 or 3 days, but I'll be in the office. 7th period, I will be back in my class. Okay? So, any questions on that stuff? Anybody? Y'all have already factored your average, right? You know how to do that? Go look at your report card grade for the past 5 weeks. If you pass with a 70 for the year, you would get a 70 for 6 weeks. Multiply that times 6, that's 420. 420 points. So, technically, we have 5-6 weeks already recorded on the report card. I would go do the math right now and say, okay, 50 plus 50 plus 80 plus 80 plus another 50. Get that total and subtract from 420. If your average comes in lower than a 70, that means you are not getting credit for English 4. Okay, lower than 70. So, I assume, though, you know who you are if that is your situation. If you're like, well, that was my situation and I needed 90, then you better make a 90, right? I've been giving you. All right. Let's go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. Where did we leave off? What stage of hell did we leave off in?
Misers and spenders.
Huh?
Misers and spenders.
Okay, misers and spenders. Okay. Did everyone finish the slide? Can I go next?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Circle 5. Remember I told you we're going to be reading an excerpt of Dante's Inferno? The entire novel is over 34 chapters long. If you read it at Del Mar, you will be reading the whole thing.
Are we changing the name for grade?
Yeah, all this week is for grade. Okay, so circle 5. Dante, he is a famous philosopher and poet who in real life was exiled from Rome. betrayed by his friends and kicked out of his home country. When he was going through that, he thought he would write a huge divine comedy as to what hell would look like. So it was kind of like his revenge in poetic form towards all the people he felt had betrayed him. And what he does is he takes his personal experience to what he thinks hell will look like. So yesterday, hell's divided in 9 circles in Dante's world. We got up to circle 5. So if you were absent yesterday, not paying attention, or I'm not sure what it was, we discussed all up to circle 5. After I finish this PowerPoint, anybody who was absent and wants to come take pictures, go ahead and do that. Just make sure nobody's copying anything when you come up here. Alright, so in circle 5, this is the circle dedicated to the wrathful and those people who are sullen. The wrathful sought revenge in life, while the sullen were silently angry and made others miserable with that anger. The Styx, the river of fate, forms a swamp holding openly the wrathful who strike and bite one another. So if in life you are angry and constantly making people's lives hell, outwards and openly, in hell, in Dante's world, you would be floating above the river Styx, constantly biting and fighting all over again for eternity. So it's important to understand that your torture repeats itself over and over again in hell. Sullen people, who are quiet, angry people, you know who they are. Yes, they're pissed off, they're a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, or they make other people's life a living hell because they're so spiteful. Their torture was to lie under the surface of the river Styx in the marsh, just as their silent anger lay hidden during their lives. Dante wrote the Divine Comedy as a form of revenge against those that sent him into exile in his real life. This was a sin, which is why revenge is not one of the extremely punished sins. Not down there in circle 8, circle 9. Okay?
Circle 9. That one is
Can I go next?
No. Guessing so, she highlighted all of it.
Oh my god.
And remember, you can shorten these underlines if you want to. I don't get how you shorten it in the end and then shortening them along. I didn't even see what I know I contacted them. I know I've been like this
Since the beginning of the year.
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year. I remember freshman. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we still got a line up.
Can I go next? Moving on to circle 6. This is where the heretics spend their torture. Heretics choose their own opinions instead of following the teachings of the church. So anyone who commits any crime against the church, they are to spend eternity set on fire, then buried alive, their bodies forever burning in their own graves, and this process repeats itself. Atheists, or those who don't believe in God, are also sent to this level of hell.
Quick question.
Yes.
They're all divided into 9, right? 9 different things that people do. So, what if one person's all of them?
Then they go to the worst one.
Wait, say it again.
Do they just go to the worst one at 9, or would they go
You don't die. You
Oh.
come back to life.
Go through
You
all
have
of
you have
that,
nothing but
and
eternity.
then
You might as well keep repeating.
Just go through it all again. Just like, oh, why should I circle one?
Let's
Just
go,
used
guys.
to it.
Come back to life.
Can I go next?
No.
Wait, no.
My turn is getting more.
Right.
Are we good to go next?
No. I'm gonna. My add-on can start. Jimmy check my fridge. And I'm looking
I wish I had a hand like that. That would just pay for my whole car with
Damn, but yeah, it's a long time.
Dude, somehow I have something myself before I start television.
And you never die.
I'm gonna take it back.
Are we ready? Circle 7. These are the murderers and suicide. Within Circle 7, you have it divided into 3
Tell my
sub-circles.
mom. You guys reading books.
Those who have committed the crime of murder and suicide are divided into these 3 sub-circles. Those who are violent against their neighbors, against self, against God. The first ring, violence against others, includes murderers and robbers. But no, Dante does not really distinguish between lives and property. Stealing a life to Dante is the same as stealing somebody's personal property, so therefore they're put together.
So if someone steals their pencil, they go to Circle 7.
The damned are submerged in
Stole my
Phlegathon.
pencil. You on your way.
Phlegathon is the river of blood. Drowning in the blood of all hell sinners is where you would spend your torture. You are violent towards others.
Oh,
That's my Emma does it. And that's
I wasn't even on that
you
slide.
can go, but graduating go. And so
Yeah, you're not fucking guys.
So the author of this is in Circle 5 is what you're telling us, right, miss?
I mean, I'm sorry, like this sounds like this one.
Yes, it goes for your goal, like those worried about gold.
Okay, so when you
When you did the same thing.
so when is it out?
Your 6? Yes.
No, like when is the final?
when does it rain?
It already did. It got coded in this last time. That's your final. That's like your
So if
snapshot.
I go look at my GPA right now, that's my final.
It should be your final. Yes. Now, will your transcript still show your 6 weeks grade? Yes, it has to show everything. So if you're like,
I did rank something on the Friday. That's my number.
then they probably, yeah, but where did they get it from? Been 6 weeks.
Yeah,
That's it.
Ranks aren't out yet.
I thought this ranks were
I
like,
know, but on Friday, that's what
Yeah.
they're using.
On Friday.
They use Been 6 weeks to determine.
wait.
Can I go next?
No.
Yes.
I just want to see my
Yes,
goal.
you go.
Oh, wait, miss.
Okay,
Am I graduating goal?
No, you know you are.
Oh, like,
you would know, you're gonna know by Friday for sure. Yeah, how about that?
I know that's just like.
All right.
Okay. Second ring, those who are emo or kill themselves,
That's bad.
you are
Don't do
considered
that.
a suicide. Your body's a waste. Squanderers who waste their goods in life. Those who don't care, they just like here, get rid of that. You fall in here. Suicide. You get a special place with the harpies. They are constantly torturing you. The harpies are some fugly, jacked up, women-looking birds who rip out your eyes, they pluck them out, and they fly with you, ripping you apart, all sorts of things. Yes, this is the same slide. The third ring, those who are violent against God and are blasphemous against God, is the worst kind of violence in Dante's world. So they too partake in being tortured by the harpies and everything else that goes on. Repeat it. There's another continuation on to the next slide that you'll add to this,
So
but
do you like feel it?
yeah,
Oh.
You feel
I guess you just
everything.
can't ever really die.
It's like if you die, you just come back.
Who? Yeah. You're not part of it.
Hey, you wanna go for you?
Huh?
Wanna go for you? Wanna go for you?
Go. I'll rent my own cabin and show up on the video. How about that? Go.
My mom. Hey, tell my mom.
Can we go next or not?
Wait, Miss, what happened to the third grade?
Your mom has a link?
If they partake in all this torture.
So both the first and the second grade?
Yeah, you go through it all over.
So you go through these circles.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes.
Oh.
Forever and ever. And ever. And ever. And ever. It's like Sandlot.
Is there ever like a 15-minute break interval? You
There's
know,
not
catch your-
15-minute break.
Just to catch your breath real quick,
No.
you know, get a water or
The
something.
heartbeats don't go on break.
Damn it.
Miss Oil, am I one of those kids? That is a
You're not a pink slipper. It's like a week before graduation, they give us pink slips as a teacher and say, for real, this kid's not going to graduate. We have to fill it out and say, for real, they're not graduating. I try not to give out pink slips, but I think in my 10-year career, I've given out maybe 5 pink slips. That means you're going to summer school, you're not graduating at all. Now the computer will do it with attendance. Like when Dr. Clement came in, she put in that database that'll flag it if it's 43 and over, to where we don't even have to fill out pink slip. It's through attendance, there's no turning back, nothing to do. Yeah.
Hey, mom, dad.
No. If you hit over 43 or 45, you can't make up at all.
Yeah, I was at 43 with Miss Farmer.
No.
Last year.
There's no coming back. You're done. Nothing I can do. There's no
I was more
But at
Yeah,
year.
no, for the year, you won't graduate at all. That's it. 45 is
Game over, motherfucker.
Okay, along with the Harpies, you have the Munsters and Guards. Another Greek mythological reference mentioned in the Inferno is the character Chiron, who's the centaur, or the teacher of Hercules. We see him in circle 7. Warriors and centaurs patrol the entire circle. They're half man, half horse. And they're easily angered, so if these souls happen to piss them off in all their torture, they will also repeatedly. So along with the Harpies, along with everything else happening.
So if someone's like screaming too loud or not
yeah,
loud
they'll just go
enough,
get you and review a new one and then toss you back in and start all over again. You just don't know.
it's like prison.
What?
It's like Cheryl.
Prisons and
Dude, nobody told me everything. I was by myself in my room.
I just told them what to do with my statistic.
well, we're only reading an excerpt.
I just told them what's my statistic and they went into this.
Wait,
Driving all the pleasure instead of the pain.
And then I pop up
just
and throw my phone.
Anybody
Exactly. So imagine someone going in there and they're like, oh!
it's upsetting.
Ooh, give me that.
yeah.
I mean, that's what she's in the
Because I can tell you right now, just go.
But you're in limbo. I want step for 9 though.
Can I go next?
And she never turns around. She's just like over here. For the guys like snapping the girl, but it's like.
What the? I want to see it now. Don't tell me that.
Oh, yeah. I missed a lot more days.
You didn't even watch the movie? You want to watch the movie? I didn't tell you.
Well, if you're so worried about it.
Is it scary?
Yeah.
It just came out.
I want to see that.
If you're already hit 48, it's already done.
Okay, circle 8. Fraudulent sinners. Now there's so many. I just checked off 3. If you want to write the smallest, the shortest word, people in circle 8. There's 10 different subcircles for fraud. Panders and seducers, those who tell you what you want to hear just to get something from you. That's a sin. Flatterers, simoniacs, who are those who say donate on behalf of the church. The poor kids need it, but they're lying. They take the money. Fortune tellers, those who look into your future and make profit off this. Grafters, those who sell bribes or take bribes for political power. Hypocrites, those who say one thing and then do another. Thieves, evil counselors, sowers of discord, or those who are constantly trying to start drama.
What was Dante's problem for writing this?
Dante in real life had gotten kicked out of Italy. His own friends betrayed him and said he did a whole bunch of bad things and was a horrible sinner, so they kicked him out of his own country and from the Roman Catholic Church.
Did you really do it?
Well, I don't know.
So why is he not-
According to him, he was framed on a lot of these charges. Like, people made up stuff. People made him look bad. But there's no evidence that said he really did anything terrible. But since he was kicked out anyways, he thought, I'm not going to stop working, I'm not going to stop writing, because he was a poet and philosopher. So he thought, aha, I know my ultimate revenge was talk about the description through hell, which they knew helped to, you know, encompass all these 9 circles. Everybody kind of knew that. But he put the description in. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is who I saw, this is what happened, type of deal.
So by writing a book about hell, he went to hell.
Because it was an act of revenge.
Oh,
He's in circle 5, everyone. Go to the den. Go get your autographs and everything. Circle that I go to. I don't even know. Maybe circle 7.
There's many circles I would fit into. So I'll probably go to those 4 too.
She's gonna wear her clothes down.
okay. Continuing on with the fraud monster. In order to enter the fraudulent circle, you have to take a ride on the serpent archetype. So Dante and Virgil have to get on this fraud monster who leads them to where all these fraudulent type of people are. Well, what does the fraud monster look like? He's a flying snake with a pretty face. But when you look at his body, it's twisted and evil and ugly, meant to be symbolic of those who cheat you. They show you what you want to see, but on the real side, they're snakes. So the circle of fraud starts at the base of an abyss. Dante and Virgil must descend on the back of the fraud monster, Geryon. Geryon has a pleasant face and a snake-like body to symbolize the pleasant first appearance of fraud and its twisted snake-like dealings, meaning his body. This is very much like the pleasant first appearance of the snake in the Garden of Eden, as the friend who advised Eve she needed to take a bite of that apple. The snake gives a false appearance in order to trick Eve into eating that apple.
So is the fraud monster the snake from the Garden of Eden?
It could be a mix, yes, but its face looks nice.
It's a nice
Amen.
She was asking yesterday, she had a cold.
Maybe she felt dizzy. I won't find out how to lunch. Can I go next?
What do you want?
I want to like read this book.
I have one copy at home, and I mean, since I majored in English, I have to read this. But when at first, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is so weird. And then when I got into it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I wish I spoke Italian so I could enjoy it.
I want to read it.
I want to read it, but I don't
Because
want to
in
read
English, it still kind of rhymes, but then there's some lines that sound funny. But then if you speak Italian, you'd be like, no, it totally makes sense. Can I go next?
It's like how you listen to a Spanish song in English.
Go next. So basically, you have to learn
really makes sense.
Italian.
Circle 9, the traitors. I know yesterday we speculated, why does Circle 9 outbeat the murders and the suicides? Well, the reason Circle 9 is reserved for the last part of hell is because since Dante was betrayed in real life, he felt that the traitors who did him in and talked all this crap about him and got him excommunicated in real life deserved the harshest form of punishment. That traitors and rats deserve to be with Satan himself.
Really salty.
So, Dante was betrayed by his countrymen and fellow politicians, as we know. This betrayal sent him into exile, which is why betrayal is considered the most serious sin in Dante's version of hell. The ninth circle of hell consists of a frozen lake of ice. Satan is frozen from the shoulders down at the center. His wings are continuously flapping as he tries to free himself from his own frozen gel. The wind created by the wings is what actually freezes the lake and makes the rest of this circle cold. Usually we would assume that the ninth circle of hell would be torturous, flaming hot. But in essence, Satan is trapping himself within his own hell. Okay? So we are going to spend some time on Satan's description with this slide. Now remember, in your book, we're picking up on chapter 34, which is already, he's made it to the ninth circle. So that's the excerpt we get. We will not read it till Thursday. Tomorrow you're going to have this carol, the substitute. You're doing vocab for Dante's Inferno. You should not have a problem. Please don't be your favorite substitute is Carol's going to be here tomorrow. The one that I had last time for boot camp?
Oh, I'm talking about that lady that was no top.
I guess so.
She's fun, mean.
She ain't mean, she's stupid. She had attitude.
Why is she gonna be here?
Well, central. Oh, I have doctor's appointments all day tomorrow, so I can't.
Smart ass.
Well, it's only if you go vocabulary, you'll get it on Thursday.
Try to be so like you need to calm down now.
Yeah. We're done. Okay, chapter 34. This is where we pick up on Thursday. Chapter 34 begins with Virgil leading Dante to the last circle of hell. So for chapter 34, Virgil's taking it to the ninth circle. That's Canto 34. That's the excerpt we're going to read on Thursday. I'm going to go next.
Hold on, is leading who?
Dante into hell. Virgil is leading Dante into hell in chapter 34. That's where we pick up in our book. Satan. In that frozen lake, Satan is described as having three faces. In each mouth is a historic and biblical betrayer who he is constantly chewing on. So historically, we know some of the famous betrayers. We read Shakespeare 10th grade year. Caesar, Brutus, and Cassius are each being chewed on. And Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed Jesus for 33 pieces of silver, is being chewed on too. So, you'll have two more slides, I think, that go with Satan. So get what you can from there, or shorten what you can from there.
Wait, hold on.
So Satan has three faces. In each one of his mouth, he is slowly chewing on some of the famous traitors from history and from biblical time.
He's chewing on
Chewing on them. Taking his time and chewing on them.
They're screaming.
Yes, and this happens over and over. They'll rebuild their body and then get chewed on.
Yeah,
Nothing
dude.
happens again.
Betrayed Jesus, I guess that's
Pretty bad, yes.
just taking his time, chewing slow and hard.
Can I go next?
Just try to kick him in the leg. They have their children do it. Yeah. He's off.
She won't be the last.
Can I go next? They observe that Satan has the three faces, and this is a gross parody to those who are extremely religious or know anything about religion. It's to mimic the Catholic and the Christian belief in the Holy Trinity. When we say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we see them as one, right? So Dante's putting that kind of like, well, it's the same as in hell. The devil has his Holy Trinity too, but with traitors and people who have done the worst type of backstabbing. Dante and Virgil have to actually climb around Satan in order to reach the exit of hell. This is the end of Dante's journey through hell. Virgil must leave him at the bottom of the mountain of purgatory so he can climb up into paradise and kind of complete a full circle. So he goes through hell, goes through purgatory, arrives at heaven, and then comes out again. Okay?
I heard something about purgatory. Isn't that like an endless being of like just like what is it? Purgatory?
It's not heaven or it's not hell. It's like in the middle.
It's limbo.
It's like, I guess, a limbo between after you complete
It's where you're supposed to reflect on what you did
what
wrong.
you've done. And then once you've reflected over and gone through this, torture, I
So
suppose.
everybody gets to go?
No, I don't think
It depends.
It
If you
depends.
Oh.
Not everybody.
It's like you're not good and you're not bad.
So Dante just so happens to be this lucky
Well,
guy.
remember, Dante's just taking a visit to hell. He's still alive.
How does he just take a visit to hell? Because he
Well,
died
he's-
before the establishment.
This is what he envisions hell to be. So, since he's a poet and philosopher, and he's going to write a poem about hell, he decides to get his free ticket, and he calls on Virgil, another great poet before him, to say he'll be my escort. And that's what he's doing.
I feel like they just did drugs
Yep.
and just made
He
it
was
up as
on
they
some
went
acid.
along.
He just said, let me write
Yeah.
a story about hell.
Some shrooms, maybe, miss, you know?
So, who are the types of traitors in hell? Well, you have traitors to your family, traitors to your country, traitors to guests. So just put that. There's 3 different types of traitors. Traitors to their family, traitors to their country, and traitors to guests. The historical reference of yes.
Jericho, tell me why I like suggested my mom aren't you like sibling Jericho?
Why?
Because Jared and Jericho, that was so good.
Read up on Jericho. See if you still think it's live.
Wait, what does it mean though?
Well, it's a biblical, I know that there was a biblical city, it's a biblical city of Jericho, the Battle of Jericho, that's in the Bible, and then there's probably a historical Jericho that probably deals with this person, Hitlamiah, named after Hitlami, a captain of Jericho who invited guests to a banquet and then murdered them while they were eating. That's nice.
Oh. He murdered everyone while they Never mind, these circles kind of sound like it's only justice for people to like actually go through all of that. You know?
Can we go next?
No.
No.
Traitors to masters. Just write the first bullet. Judica is where Satan is munching on Judas, Cassius, and Brutus. So when he refers to Judica in the poem, that's the 3 mouths who are being, by the devil, who are chewing on the famous traitors. We know Judica is named for Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Christ. It also includes Cassius and Brutus, who betrayed Julius Caesar. This puts together the betrayal of masters, which combine church and state. The frozen center contains Satan, total absent of goodness, absolute distance from God. Virgil and Dante climb down Satan's side to the center of earth, exit hell, and start climbing up towards purgatory. That's a whole other set of chapters in Dante's Inferno.
Okay, absolutely distant from God. That's why it's so cold, right?
What's that 30?
Image of stars, write the second bullet. As part of the epic symbolism, Dante ends each of his 3 parts of the Divine Comedy with the word stars. Every conclusion of the upward soul is towards the stars, God's shining symbols of hope and virtue. At the end of each part of the Divine Comedy, Dante also travels upward in pursuit of his journey of his own personal salvation. Further symbolism can be found in mythological names and constellations, further emphasizing the Greek and mythological influences in his work, and we see Greek and mythological influences in all of the works that we read this year.
She's short. She's not really that short. She's like your size. She is short. She's tall. There. She has really long legs.
Can I go next?
We are talking about watching my movie, so I'm like,
Is that the last one?
Yes. Okay, so anybody who was absent on one day, you can come and take pictures if you want to, just arrow back. Remember, it's gonna be on Friday, either you have it done or you don't have it done.
Oh my god.
Go bus. Go bus.
Okay, so second time. Okay, the second one, go right.
Wait, how did we do this thing again? We do add them all and then you
Wait.
divide them by
Like,
Now you know what I mean.
And then the next part.
How do you do it again?
Okay. All white. It's like all white. It's like round white.
What did I make for the year? I made an 88. Yeah. Would you show me so I can do it? Do I have a round like filter?
So it's all you grades. You don't need that class.
I think I say like what?
No, Dad might use it for work.
And then subtract how much did you produce? Oh, so
And by the time he comes out, we're gonna get you and he realizes what he's done and we want to have that. And he feels that it's like.
So does
So
he
it's
get to
like
go back
almost,
home?
in real life, it's half a instead of like, let me go kill everybody. Metaphorically speaking, let me take you. No, he didn't go there, he just described everyone was nice.
Please.
You have to make
God.
categorized it and
I
said,
mean, like, it's like a more These stats. And it was a 69 that I got for the
I don't want to get it.
I don't have circle 1, circle 2, 3, or 4.
What'd you get this? 78.
My brother's friend's dad, he got
The one that has to be
board,
the one that's
like the size of the TV socket.
I got a 90. Yeah,
What
right.
is it? Fucking Cadillac.
live rendition, okay, you go, see how many.
I'm trying to watch it.
I have like 80 for a while.
That's a heat.
I'll say it different. I don't know.
See if you want here.
What do you mean? My passy dip, you know what that is? Like, it's like a pain.
Wait, what is
You gotta put different clothes over it. I don't know explain it. I saw a Civic Cruise with like black rim. Oh, I've seen it more. That's nice. Especially they look good on white and blue. Dude, let's see, send me some.
Stop talking. I'm gonna disadd you.
Oh, the first circle?
Oh, he almost died in the restroom, dude. He walked in, he's all, he almost slipped.
Trying to do like the doggy dodge.
He caught himself.
Oh, there's kills.
Not even.
Oh, you hit my funny one.
Not even. Houston, by the time you hit the bottom one, like I blocked, if you would have looked to see if I blocked it or not, then you would have seen the question.
Yeah, they're not gonna talk.
Hey, can I do that thing to my dad yesterday?